was awful.
I have to say Madam Web. Story was not there.
Madam Web.
On this week's episode of BJ in the Morning, we are starting Bad Movie Summer with Madam Web. Let's go. Welcome back to BJ in the Morning, your favorite dirty named podcast with even dirtier takes on movies, TV, and pop culture. My name's Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And this is it. This is Bad Movie Summer. We did it.
We've been talking about it for a while.
Like at least 2 summers.
It's officially summer. For the last 2 weeks. It's been over 100 degrees.
Gosh, it's been awful, honestly.
I was avoiding going outside at all.
Yeah.
And then literally walking from my work to car, sweating. And then driving home.
Sweating
With the AC blasting.
Yep.
And then get home and I got to take a shower. Because I'm sweating so hard.
Yeah, dude. I think even just looking outside, you start sweating now.
Yeah.
It's like 114 today.
Like, I don't even want to think about how hot it is currently.
Yeah, me neither. It is the afternoon, after all.
But with that said, we have Bad Movie Summer planned, which means...
Can you sing that to the tune of
Bad
Pink Pony Club?
Bad Movie Summer.
No, Pink Pony Club.
What is that?
You don't know Pink Pony Club? Pink Pony Club. You know?
No.
You don't know that song? You don't know that song? Are you lying right now?
No. What song is that?
It's called Pink Pony Club.
Bad Movie Summer. Bad Movie Summer.
Do I need to play you the song?
I don't know the song.
How do you not know the...
What song is it?
I just told you what the song is called. I'm going to pull it up. Detour.
Okay, this is what we're doing. Detour. Speaking of Bad Movie Summer, while he pulls up Pink Pony Club.
Oh, let me get to the chorus. Let me Anyways.
I know that song.
You do know that song. Okay, anyways, let's forget what I said about singing it to the tune of that song, okay? It popped in my head when we were naming Bad Movie Summer.
So Bad Movie Summer is going to be a segment, if you will.
A series?
A series?
A series.
Throughout the summer. And I'd say maybe we do it every other week or so we have time to watch a bad movie.
Yeah.
And if you want to request, you can request as many bad movies as you'd like if we're going to use it or watch it.
Yeah, and if you share the video out to 75 people, we'll definitely pick yours.
We'll pick yours first.
So get on it.
But our first movie...
Our first...
Of the summer... has been... We went to Phoenix Fan Fusion.
We talked about it last week.
Well, we talked about Madam Web being one of the worst movies ever already. And then at Phoenix Fan Fusion, we were asking people, what's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Right.
Videos soon to come.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah, videos soon to come. And an overwhelming amount of people said Madam Web.
Yeah, and I'm not going to include them in the video.
So we do have to kind of address, I don't know, I want to say the elephant in the room, even though it's not really.
Yeah, no, everyone knows this movie.
Everyone knows this movie is horrible.
Yeah. Do you want me to give you some facts about what the critics and the audience said about this movie?
Yes, I do.
Or at least scores and reception-wise. So this movie holds just an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Can you believe that? That's out of 265 reviews. It's got a 3.4 out of 10. So it's easily an overwhelming negative reaction to this movie. Metacritic gave it a 26 out of 100 and labeled it generally unfavorable. Generally. Common criticisms include clumsy exposition, flat dialogue, uneven editing, generic VFX, and unengaging combat sequences. The Hollywood Reporter quotes, "It's airless, stilted, and mechanical, with forced mannered dialogue." Variety said it's an extended soda commercial. And Rolling Stone, a comedy of intellectual property errors, a future cult camp classic, but also embarrassing for everyone involved. Yeah. Audience reception, roughly 55% positive.
I think I dropped my pop.
Uh-oh.
I think even Dakota Johnson, after the movie was made, was refusing to talk about it and was embarrassed that she even made this movie.
You mean Razzie Award winner Dakota Johnson for this movie? She won a Razzie for Worst Actress in this movie. The movie got 3 Razzies.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know what Razzies are, they are awards for bad movies. It won for Worst Picture, Worst Actress, and Worst Screenplay.
That's
and
rough.
Sony's CEO just said, y'all don't get it, basically. I'm paraphrasing.
Y'all dumb.
You don't get it. It's fine. You guys are too harsh.
Only intellectuals are able to comprehend the stoicism.
Y'all don't know how avant-garde this film is.
Avant-garde. It is art.
It is.
You understand? It's art.
Why don't we jump into what this movie's about?
Yeah, before we do that, I want to know just a brief. You watched it for the first time recently.
Yeah, I avoided this movie like the vid.
Just give me a brief, explanation of your time watching the movie.
It took me 2 days to watch this movie in full. Because I watched half of it, got bored, realized I wasn't actually watching it, started over the next day, finished it. This movie basically said, you know Spider-Man?
Here it is.
No. Play along. This is a bit.
Sure.
Hey, you know Spider-Man?
Uh-huh.
You know, everyone around Spider-Man in his life?
Uh-huh.
You know, how much you love New York in the Spider-Man movie?
Uh-huh.
You know how cool Spider-Man's powers are?
Yeah.
Cool. This movie ain't got any of that.
None of it.
No. Oh, but also, you know Uncle Ben?
Yeah.
You're going to love him.
For sure.
He doesn't die in this one.
Oh, nice.
That was my experience watching this movie. In all honesty, watching this movie was painful. Sitting down and actually watching it for the first time, I realized just how much I missed Spider-Man 3.
But also the inaccuracy and the need to include Spider-Man, Spider people.
So we
into this movie. Yeah, it felt desperate.
Yeah, because we as people who watch a lot of movies and study up on movies and follow the news about movies, we know why this movie was made, and it's because Sony doesn't want to give up the rights to Spider-Man. So in the battle with Marvel, they can't make a Spider-Man movie, a live-action Spider-Man movie. They can't do it without Marvel. Apparently, this movie had an entirely different story where the bad guy in the movie is trying to unalive Peter Parker as a baby to stop him from unaliving him in the future.
Right.
Which is a way better story than the one we got. But Marvel said no, because they can't make a Spider-Man live action movie without Marvel's green light.
So they scrambled.
Yeah. So and it's obvious in this movie how much they scrambled. Is obvious with how little dialogue matches lip movement of most of the characters. But I think you want to give your first impression of this movie while watching, and then we'll jump into the movie itself.
I remember I watched it when it came out.
Yeah, you went to the theater. You went for the theater experience.
And unfortunately, I felt like I remembered enough of it that I did not watch it recently. But I do remember a good amount. And I know watching it in the theater, for one, I felt disappointed.
Yeah.
Because I was in the theater and I was excited for this movie, especially with how much they hyped up Spider-Woman and the Spider Girls.
Yeah. The Spider People.
That we see one time in the movie.
Give them credit. Twice.
At the end.
Same footage.
Yeah.
Twice.
And I think it was just, like I said before, the inaccuracy to the character, and then the desperate need to include Spider-Man without including Spider-Man, and the plot holes all over this movie. I was just like just disappointed.
Yeah.
I was just hoping for it to be better. And you know when it came out, Brendan? Valentine's Day.
Yep.
You know where I went on Valentine's Day that
to this
year?
Movie?
To watch this movie.
I can just see you now, all alone on Valentine's Day, sitting in the theater.
All alone. All by myself.
Because I'm guessing the theater was not full.
Right.
But Juan, let's jump in to Madam Web and relive this movie quickly. And by quickly, I mean it's kind of summed up. We're going to skip over the unimportant stuff. So the end credits...
The last
I'm not even talking
scene of the movie.
I'm not even talking about the credits scene. I'm just talking about the credits. There was a lot of people who worked on this. Anyways, let's get to the movie. We're going to open up this movie with a prologue. Guess what? If you were late to the movies in the theater, you wouldn't have missed anything because they do the same exact scene later on in the movie. But let's jump into... the Peruvian Amazon in 1973. Constance Webb, who is?
Madam Web's mother.
Good job. She is in the jungle at least 8.8 months, 3.5 weeks, 16 hours into pregnancy. She's heavily pregnant.
Well, like 9 months.
9 months and a day.
Full term is like 10 months.
She's ready to give birth. And she is, for some reason, in the Amazon. What is she doing in the Amazon?
Looking for a spider.
She's looking for spiders that can cure a disease that her baby has.
Which we don't find out till later in the movie.
We can spoil this movie. It's been out for a year.
I'm just letting them know.
First off, the disease that her baby has, I don't even remember the name of, but I remember looking it up. And this disease is not a disease you can find out a baby has in the womb.
Yeah.
It's not detectable in the womb.
But I mean...
But also...
You also have to have a reason for Madam Web...
Script.
To, spoiler alert, go back.
The script. Because the script said so. So Constance Webb is in the Peruvian Amazon with her bodyguard, Ezekiel Sims. When Constance finds the spider, she's holding this glass jar. She comes running up like, I found it. We don't see how she found it. We don't see where she found it. We just saw that Ezekiel...
I don't see how she caught it.
Yeah, we just see Ezekiel in the tent taking all the pictures of the research. And you're like, that's a little sus.
And all of her research has to do with the spider.
Yeah.
And its abilities to enhance.
Yeah, because there's some tribe that has the spiders as friends.
How does
right?
she know that?
Research. Anyways, she comes running in with this obvious cartoon spider. It looks like they ripped it out of Into the Spider-Verse. Like, next time you watch it, if you sit down to watch this movie again, which I don't know why you would, look at the spider in the jar. It looks like 1938 Disney. Like, this is a Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of situation. But she finds the spider, and guess what? Ezekiel, bad guy. He a bad guy. He shoots all the other people. And then Constance is like, I'm not pregnant anymore. I'm going to fight with this guy. She's pregnant. And fights with a guy with a gun.
9 months pregnant, by the way.
Fights a guy with a gun. Accidentally gets shot. And Ezekiel runs off with the apparent only spider in the entire Peruvian Amazon. But, as Constance is laying on the ground, bleeding, we see rustling in the trees. And then random guys in these like black webbed looking red suits come dropping in and pick her up and Twilight run her back to their headquarters.
And they're, like I said, their desperate need to include Spider-Man really killed the vibe of these people's clothes.
Yeah, but also anytime you see a spider web in the opening sequence and throughout the movie, there's either red or blue behind it. And it's usually red. But he opens a red umbrella while she's looking at a spider web, and we know what you're saying. We get it.
Yeah.
Get over it. So yeah, they take her back to this cave by grabbing her, running across the trees, just like Edward does with Bella in Twilight. It looks exactly the same one. It looks exactly the same. I was waiting for the
How long have you been 17?
Spiders. So she's obviously hurt, and they put her in this milk bath to hopefully save her. And they put these fancy spiders. There's hundreds of thousands of these spiders in this cave, by the way, the magical, mystical spiders. And they let it bite her right as she's giving birth in the milk bath. And then we cut to 2003.
Here's my question. If you let a... Okay. Spider bites you, then you give birth.
Yeah.
Venom travels through the bloodstream
super fast
through the umbilical cord
super
to the
quick.
baby, right?
Yeah, super fast.
I could understand that if she like gave birth a little bit after getting bit, but
The same
during childbirth,
same time.
does that work?
It worked in The Last of Us, which came out first.
If you're a medical doctor and you've delivered babies and you're listening right now,
Let us know.
or not even a doctor, if you're a nurse or a medical assistant or
Anyone in the medical field.
anyone who has any experience with childbirth, does it work that quickly?
Probably not.
No, it's a question.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a question.
not rhetorical.
No, it's a question.
We'll wait.
Put it in the comments.
But we're back now in New York City, 2003. What's going on in 2003? Cassie, a.k.a. Cassandra, a.k.a.
Madam Web.
is now an adult. We skipped all that time. Don't know what happened.
30 years.
How'd she get back to New York? Did the Amazon tribe of the Las Arañas know exactly where to send her? How? How do they know these things?
They just sent her away.
How do they know?
They just did.
Because the movie said so.
And they're spider people.
They have Spidey sense. Peter Tingle. But Cassie's now an NYC paramedic. Why?
That's the job she chose.
Cool. And her partner, Ben Parker. Ooh, that's a name we know.
We know that name.
We know who that guy is.
We know that guy.
Played by Adam Scott.
Great. He's great.
Also, Cassie, played by
Dakota Johnson.
Anyways, continuing. Cassie is detached and socially awkward and avoids emotional attachments. Why the F are you a paramedic?
Right.
You're like, yep, that makes sense. Yeah. But so yeah, they do some banter. They save some people, and you get a glimpse of someone that we recognize now, but at the time not super recognizable. Sydney Sweeney.
Yep.
She's there. Cassie and Ben save stepmom.
Yeah.
Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Sydney Sweeney's or Julia.
Julia in the hospital.
Yeah, in the hospital.
Yeah, sorry. This movie is so crazy, it doesn't make sense to even write it down, and I have notes in front of me. But skipping all the nonsense, the credits. How many times going to make that joke today? During a regular traffic rescue, Cassie gets trapped in a car that's going over a bridge. How many Spider-Man movies is a car falling off a bridge? Every single one. I didn't give you time to answer. At almost every movie, there's a Spider-Man movie, there's a car going to fall into a bridge.
Or
off a bridge.
Or a piece of a train, or the boat thing.
The bridge.
Yeah,
the bridge.
What's the thing that in Spider-Man, I think, 1
with the gondolas?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
But anyway, so Cassie's trapped in the car and it falls into the water, and she has a near-death experience.
And she's underwater for 3 minutes.
3 whole minutes.
And guess who saves her?
Ben Parker.
How?
Spider-Man said so. We don't know how he pulled her out of that, but she had a vision, and that vision was of webs and a giant glowing red S. And that's it. Moving on. So she gets a little like, man, this is kind of weird. But she's totally cool with like being legally dead for a minute or so.
But then she gets another vision
Of
him taking her vitals.
That's not yet. Wait, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's like right
that's
after.
how the visions are. The visions are going. She's like, this just happened. And she's like super dickish about it. Like, didn't we just do this?
Yeah. You took this already.
Oh my gosh. And anytime she has a vision, she looks like she's smelling a fart. Like legit. Is that the future I'm smelling? Ugh.
Didn't we just do this?
Didn't we just smell this fart?
You just said that.
Also, I want to point out here that anytime there is cracked glass, because Cassie hits the glass, and anytime the glass cracks, Juan, it looks like a spider web, because that's the only way that glass cracks, is by looking exactly like a spider web. Because
Spider-Man.
Not Spider-Man.
Right.
Madam Web.
Right.
So yeah, Cassie's kind of freaking out about her vision. She's like, it's just deja vu. Oh man, it's just deja vu. And then they go to this firework place that's on fire at the docks. And she has a vision that another paramedic guy, the chief or so or whatever, O'Neill, is gonna die. She gets a vision. And she tries to stop him by saying, "Don't go. Let me drive. Hey, don't go. Let me drive." And he goes, "Nah, I got stuff to do," and takes off. And guess what?
He dies. Oh, unalived.
He dies. Do you think she had anything to do with that? Like, if she would have just let him go the first time, you think he would have made that turn safely? Soundly?
Maybe.
But it kind of seems like she's the reason. Anyways. Just like the movie, we're moving on. So now let's talk about Ezekiel. Guess what? He's still around.
He's rich now.
He's rich. Why?
I don't know.
The movie said so.
He's also like developed some software that he had to like get the code from somebody.
Yeah, he had to.
But it was his development.
Yeah, he stole a bunch of technology to track people across the city, the world, whatever. But he had to like mess around with this secret agent and get her clearance cards to tap in.
Yeah, to his
all the stuff that he built.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so Ezekiel is obsessed with this spider that he stole that is still alive.
He's still got the spider.
The spider is still alive.
That spider is at least 45. You know what I mean? Like that's a middle-aged spider. Super chill, living a bachelor life, like didn't have any kids.
And it's safe to assume that he was let it bite him.
Yeah, he's got powers now. He's
got powers, but guess what else he has?
What, a spider?
Visions.
He's also got visions.
He gets visions
of one specific event.
So do all the spider people bit by this specific spider get visions?
Ask the script.
We don't know.
Anyways.
2 out of at least 10 that we saw.
So during this whole conversation he's having with the secret agent, his mouth is moving and the words are not what he is saying. Like
clearly. Like
in Austin Powers or Kung Pao into the fist. It's a whole like,
you will give me the spider now, please.
If you're listening to this episode, that was a bit that you'd have to watch on YouTube at BJ in the Morning Podcast on YouTube. But he's having visions, one specific vision, a nightmare, you would say, about 3 teenage girls named Julia.
As spider people.
Named Julia,
Anya,
and
Maddie.
And what happens to him in this nightmare?
They kill him.
And then he just is a real punk about it. You know exactly when you're going to die.
They're going to steal everything that he built.
What did he build?
We don't know.
Do we find out?
No.
Okay. So Cassie's back in her apartment.
I will say this, though.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
One of the best parts of this movie is that nightmare.
Yep.
One of the most highly anticipated parts of this movie is that nightmare.
And guess what?
It was a 3, maybe less minute clip.
And it's all foggy.
And
distorted.
That's all we see of these spider people.
Hold on. Don't spoil the ending.
Women. Right. Got it.
The Spider Girls. Women.
One of the best scenes in the movie.
Right then.
By far.
Yeah. And this is like Act 1 still. We still had a lot of movie to go. Cassie's chilling in her apartment. She's talking to a stray cat named Cat. She doesn't even have the emotional strength to name a cat.
Right.
Hey, Cat. That's literally a line from the movie.
Sup, Cat.
So she's having all these visions. She's like freaking out a little bit. She has a vision that a pigeon hits her window. Guess what the crack in the window looks like?
Spiderweb?
Yeah. And then she goes to the window and opens it, says, "This isn't going to change anything." And then the pigeon flies in. And then she goes, "Guess you didn't have to die after all."
Guess you didn't die after all.
And that's kind of when she starts putting it together that she is in Final Destination.
Right. Now let's fast forward to Ben Parker inviting her to his sister-in-law's, or his sister? No, his sister-in-law's baby shower.
Baby shower. Who's
Ben Parker's sister-in-law is pregnant.
And what's her name?
Mary Parker.
Yep. Who's that?
Don't know.
Don't have no clue who she might be pregnant with.
Madam Webb, a.k.a. Cassie, a.k.a. Cassandra, goes to this party.
Why?
Because she was invited by Ben Parker.
Uh-huh.
Then one of the friends says, "Let's try to play a game and guess the gender."
No, guess the name.
I thought it was a gender.
No, the name. They already know it's a boy.
Let's guess the name.
Okay.
And then they start guessing names. And then she goes, "Ugh. Hey, let's try to guess the name and play a game." And then very rudely, she says, "You already said that."
Yeah.
And I'm spitting all over my face because I'm getting so angry.
So angry.
That why does anybody feel the need to be that rude?
When you're Cassandra Webb, The script
AKA
said so.
Cassie.
So the script said so.
But you already said that.
You already said that.
And then everyone's like,
okay.
all right. Who invited this girl?
Okay. So moving forward, Cassie's freaking out. She gets some time off work. Yeah. She decides, for some reason, because the script said so, that she needs to get on a train. And she's going to ride a train around and chill out and just get her head straight. And then we see...
Another vision.
Hold on.
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
Another vision?
Yes. Before the vision, though.
Spiderweb.
Yeah. Before the spiderweb.
Another vision.
The three girls from the dream. They're on the train. Did you know that? Why are they on the train?
Don't know.
The script said so. We find out later that
Rewind. When Ezekiel is doing his little computer thing,
we don't need to talk.
He
about
got a
him
hacker to do all that stuff for him.
Yep.
And he identified the girls.
Yeah, they're on the train.
Then decides that he needs to do something about it.
Yeah, he's gonna go kill him
before they take everything that he's.
It really doesn't matter.
Built.
It really doesn't matter.
Right.
It really.
Go back to the
We're
train.
on the train. First off, Cassie sits down. There's a guy sitting across from her playing a PSP. That shit didn't come out until 2005. Sony, you made this movie. You made that product.
What's up?
Script. So yeah, she sees a vision that he comes in the train, unalives these girls, and then she wakes up from the vision. It's kind of trippy, kind of confusing, and then she sees the girls. Everything happens the same way. We know how visions work now.
She sees him.
And so she gets up and does something about it.
And she saves the girls.
Yeah, but she also, one of the girls says that they're getting kidnapped by her, and that causes a whole problem. But this guy, Ezekiel Sims, comes in wearing a suit that pretty much looks like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. There you
all
go.
Black and red.
And that's the only time you're going to see him in the trailers is in that suit.
But Spider-Man does not exist.
No, there's no Spider-Man.
There's no Spider-Man in this.
There's just a guy who made a suit that looks like Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man doesn't exist.
Very coincidental.
Oh my god, how did that happen?
Because the script.
Because the script said so.
Yeah, right.
Hey. Because the script said so.
Because the script said so.
Moving on. So she saves all these people, right? And they're like, oh my god, we're being kidnapped. And then now they go outside and she steals a taxi and takes the girls to the woods.
Yeah.
Because the woods is safe for teenage girls.
Mm-hmm. Away from surveillance. How does she know that he has access to surveillance?
I don't know.
Because the script said so.
But also, everyone's freaking out. When they get in the taxi, she's like, by the way, I'm not a kidnapper.
Okay, that's what a kidnapper would say.
But then she proceeds to kidnap them because the cops are looking for them. I just thought it was really weird. But it's okay because they joked about it, so she's not a kidnapper. Also, in all caps here, I just wrote Ezekiel's ADR lines. Again, everything he says in the movie was recorded after the movie was done. Like, when they were editing the movie, they brought the guy back in to re-record every single line of dialogue because they had to change the story. Also, when they get to the woods, did you notice that they definitely stole the throwing something at someone who says they can sense the future from No Way Home?
No.
You know the or when MJ throws the bread at Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't work for bread. They do the same thing in this movie. She just throws something and it's like, it's not how it works. It's the same exact joke.
Stolen.
Not as funny. And then someone says, I think Julia says, he was climbing on the walls and the ceiling like a spider person. And that makes a light bulb effect go off in good old Cassie's head. And she says,
spiders.
My mom was studying spiders. My mom was studying spiders in the Amazon when I was born.
She said spiders.
Spiders. So she decides to
She leaves the girls alone.
For how long?
3 hours exactly.
To do what?
Go look at her mom's research that she keeps in a box
Guys.
underneath her bed, alongside with
Spider people.
a picture of Constance Webb,
Her mother.
and Ezekiel together.
Oh my gosh.
Happy.
Oh my
having
gosh.
fun.
Oh my gosh. They know each other. Full circle. But the girls get bored, right?
Right.
So they're
hungry.
They're hungry. They're bored. They're like, you remember that diner? They go to the diner to dance on some tables because why?
Flirts.
They're flirting with teenage boys. And
Did they eat? I don't
think
remember.
they scarfed down some food. But also, what happens in this diner that's really important?
Ezekiel finds them.
Ezekiel finds him because why? The script said so.
Oh, because the script said so. Right.
So, my bad. Totally forgot. Cassie gets there and she's like, I got to get you guys out of here. Turns around. Ezekiel's there.
Kills them all.
Or
unalives them all.
But then what happens? Oh, your visions only work sometimes.
Yeah, it's a vision. And now instead of just being right there, she is back at the woods.
She's back at the woods.
Still.
So the first time she went to the diner, after we didn't say that she went back to the woods, didn't see him, walked all the way to the diner, saw all that stuff, blah blah blah. This time though, after the vision, she takes the stolen taxi, which she still has somehow, and drives it to the diner. When she gets there, what happens? Ezekiel's already there.
About to commit murder.
He's already there.
She's too late.
How? She walked the first time. This time she drove.
I see.
How does that make any sense?
I see.
So she does what?
She smashes her car into the diner and hits Ezekiel with the cab.
Who also has the spidey sense, but it doesn't work for cars?
And visions.
Yeah, but it doesn't work for cars?
Guess not.
Guess not. Why?
It's yellow.
Why?
Spiders.
Why?
Because the script says so.
So they all get back into the stolen taxi, which has now been driven into a building, and take off.
Yeah.
Where do they go?
To a hotel.
Yeah, we don't need to talk any about that except for the fact that what happens in this hotel?
They become friends.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And she teaches them CPR.
That's it. That's about all we need.
As soon as I saw that, watching this movie in the theater, I knew they were going to do something with that shit.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
I knew it.
Foreshadowing. But it also happened in the beginning. Remember when it happened in the beginning? Foreshadowing.
Ben Parker?
Ben Parker. Hero of the movie, by the way, Ben Parker. So Cassie decides to take the girls to Ben Parker's?
Yep.
Why?
Because he's the only person she trusts.
Exactly. It makes sense. But why is she dropping the girls off there? Because she
needs to go back
to Peru?
To the Amazon.
To the Amazon. So how does she get to the Amazon? She gets on a plane as a wanted person for kidnapping in 2003 New York City.
Just gets on a plane and goes to Peru.
Super
Flees
easy.
the country.
Super easy to do in 2003. It's just not be spotted by TSA in 2003 New York City.
Right.
Do we need to say anything else about it?
Right.
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 Right. Also, she gets to the exact spot that the movie opened. How? How does she get to the exact spot in the Amazon where her mother was when she almost found the spider?
Was it a drawing of a picture? Or
It was
it a picture?
A photo.
Picture of a tree.
Of a tree. That tree did not grow whatsoever in 30 years.
And she found it.
Based on the picture.
In the whole country of Peru.
In the whole
Correct?
Amazon.
Country?
Yeah. The whole Amazon. She found the one tree that didn't grow in 30 years. next to a river.
Found it.
And then you remember those spider people from the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
That dude's back, but also he's just wearing normal clothes now.
Yeah, he's not in his...
He's just wearing like some normal like cloth.
And has he aged?
Maybe. So you remember also at the beginning of the movie, we had all that stuff about the spiders and like the people and like the milk bath. We're going to do that all again. Because now Cassie's got to learn all the stuff we already know.
Right.
And then we're going to go back to New York.
Because
the movie needs to continue.
Right.
And our episode's getting a little bit long.
And she goes back to New York fairly quickly.
Yeah, she gets pretty quick. But also on her way back, it's important to the...
It's almost like
story.
no time has passed.
No time has passed, except for the fact that Mary Parker, her water broke. And Ben is going to take her and the girls
to the hospital.
Why do the girls need to go? Because more movie has to happen.
More
movie. Yeah. Because the script said so.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, Cassie is getting all the powers from the web of life, the eternal web, whatever you want to call it. It's the web of life, if you know anything about. So she comes back, and now she's got more spider powers. She can see the future. But then we're gonna cut back to New York, and the girls are going to the hospital with Ben and Mary, and there's a baby coming, and guess who that baby is? Don't say it. We're not allowed. But Cassie also still has the stolen taxi when she comes back from Peru. You telling me she just parked that thing
at the airport?
At the airport in 2003 New York, and no one did anything about it? Weird. But she's driving around, and then she gets stuck in traffic, so she does what?
Gets out.
She steals an ambulance.
That's right.
From some paramedics who ran into a building to presumably save somebody's life.
And she has another vision.
She's got a bunch of visions. We don't even talk about
While she's driving. And she drives into like a parking garage thing.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel's chasing the girls, by the way.
Yeah,
and
in Ben's car.
She drives the ambulance through a wall?
Yeah, so there's the barricade, the concrete barricade wall. She drives straight through it, through a sign on the other side.
Yeah.
And instantly hits Ezekiel, who then goes, I'm fine, and takes off.
So her vision is not only to see what is happening, she can now see through a wall?
I guess so. Because the movie said so. The script makes all decisions.
It's spiders.
Okay, but then they decide to... She grabs all the girls and they go taking off, and he's like on top of the ambulance, and they're driving through the city, and she's like, we gotta get to that fireworks place from the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
And what's her name? Maddie says, you're just showing off like 16 times during this road trip.
Yes.
Whatever. And then they get to the fireworks factory. And they have this huge scene where they're running through the fireworks factory, lighting fireworks. Normal fireworks, you guys. Normal fireworks. The ones that shoot and explode and are pretty, they can be fatal, sometimes.
So
but also
they light them all.
These fireworks only do damage when the script says so. So one time... it shoots right past Ezekiel, and he's like, whatever. And then the next time, they blow up a wall so the girls can escape.
A whole wall.
A whole brick wall. So then there's a big fight on top of a Pepsi sign. Did you know all these girls could fight? These teenage girls who just got picked up and kidnapped by Madam Web?
Apparently they can.
Also, there's definitely a part where the girl gets like thrown off, and she grabs one of the poles and slides on it like Spider-Man, like her fingers grip to it. I don't think that's possible. Just saying. I don't think
they don't have powers.
They don't have powers. So they lure him in with an evacuation helicopter that they're trying to get out on. But guess what? A firework hits the helicopter and it goes down.
Whoa.
While they're fighting on the Pepsi sign.
Whoa.
But then a firework blows up some rubble and it causes Ezekiel to not see what's going to happen and no spidey sense. And he falls and gets crushed by the Pepsi sign. But also, who falls off the sign into the water?
Madam
No,
Web.
she's not Madam Web yet.
A.K.A. Cassie, A.K.A. Cassandra.
A.K.A. Dakota Johnson. She falls off into the water, and a firework shoots into the water and blinds her, and somehow now she can't walk. And she's blind. She can't see anymore.
And she has another vision.
Of... I don't remember.
The web of eternity or whatever.
The web of life?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's got another vision, and the girls pull her out of the water, and remember that CPR from earlier?
CPR.
They CPR her back to life.
How'd they get her out?
We don't know. So, oh my God, thank God that she taught them CPR, or she would probably still be alive because the script would have written some other nonsense in there. And now they're all at the hospital. And then a nurse comes in like, only immediate family. And she goes, they're all mine. They have parents.
Yeah.
They do.
They're hers now.
She's happy with it.
They belong to her.
And then they find out that Mary also gave birth. And Ben's all excited to be an uncle. And she goes, yeah, it's... she's like, all the fun of being a parent without the responsibility. Or all the fun of being an uncle without all the responsibility. And Cassie goes, that's what he thinks. Like she knows that Peter's parents and Uncle Ben are all going to be murdered and he's going to become Spider-Man.
Oof.
She knows right then in that moment already in the hospital. Whoops. She's not going to do anything about it.
But she spent the whole movie trying to save these girls.
Yep. But yeah, she knows that everyone's going to die. And then... we're at the conclusion. We're at the conclusion of the movie. She's chilling. All the girls are hanging out in this like attic, I guess. There's a web. There's a window that looks like the web.
It's like a loft.
Yeah. And Cassie's wearing those. You remember when the Real D 3D movies came out and they had the big blocky red glasses? Mm-hmm. That's what she's wearing.
Horribly.
It's so
horribly bad. Looking.
And then she starts talking about how like, oh my gosh, the future. I see better than I ever have before, blah, blah, blah.
Even though she's blind.
Even though she's blind. And she's like, the best thing about the future. And then we get this epic, like, montage of the girls being Spider-Women's.
Yeah, with the Gwen Stacy drum solo in the background.
Yeah. And then she's kind of, like, floating in the astral plane, I guess. Yeah. The Spidey sense.
The eternal web.
With the... like, they took the glasses that Doc Brown is wearing in Back to the Future when he comes back from the future and just chrome red.
Yeah, on her face.
And it looks so cheap and so cheesy.
And horrible.
And she goes, the best part about the future, it hasn't happened yet. Like, no duh. It has not happened yet? Oh, my gosh. And that...
so cringe.
And that, my friends... is the breakdown of Madam Web.
That's the end of the movie.
And honestly, Juan, this movie was in fact less enjoyable than Morbius. It was less enjoyable than all the Venoms, and I haven't seen the third one, but I know it's going to be better than this one. Mm-hmm. But also, Craven.
Haven't seen it.
Still better than this one.
Wow.
But this movie is the reason that Sony is definitely going to lose this fight with Marvel on who is going to get Spider-Man.
Marvel.
Juan.
Brendan.
How do you feel now that we've kind of broke down this movie for our friends, our listeners?
I want to say relieved.
That we don't have to watch it or talk about it anymore?
Never again.
The future hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the whole movie. If you haven't seen it, you want to experience it, you can watch it on Netflix.
It is on Netflix as of recording this. Go suffer through it if you must.
Sometimes it's maybe it'll be a good laugh.
There's parts of this movie that definitely stand out. Adam Scott as Uncle Ben is a standout for me. I think getting to see Uncle Ben in his prime as someone who is likable and is charismatic and fun to be around, it really would have driven the point home across of Uncle Ben's death.
Sure.
This movie was supposed to line up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but again, with the Sony and Marvel disagreements, they couldn't do that anymore. That's why the movie has such bad dialogue, because a lot of it was re-recorded. The script was written by like 16 different people, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it still had too many names in the credits. Mm-hmm. And the more names you see on story and script by, the less good the movie's going to be.
Yeah.
Honestly. So for me, we're talking about these movies, we're giving them, the breakdown, and we're reviewing them a little bit. Mm-hmm. This movie to me is not something I would rewatch unless I was playing a drinking game to it. Mm-hmm. This is a movie you could put on in the background. But I honestly think, again, the best part of the movie is Adam Scott as Uncle Ben, and then the 2 montages with the girls suited up with their powers. How do they get those powers? The script said it was going to happen. I think it makes me really sad that this movie had such potential based on the story that was leaked. But we didn't get that story. We got Madam Web.
There was also just so much other stuff that they could do.
Yeah.
With the character of Madam Web.
And also, Madam Web never got her own comic.
She did, I think.
I don't think so.
I think she
Not
did.
by herself. Don't look it up right now.
You want me to check it?
We're kind of coming up onto the end of the episode. So, Juan, do you have a rating for this movie out of 10?
I give it a 1.2.
That's pretty low. Out of 10? 1.2 out of 10?
Yeah, it's horrible.
The movie is really bad. I have to agree with it being low like that. I'm going to give it a 3. I think a lot of the problems with this movie stem from the cast not knowing what movie they're in. Everyone is playing a different story, different plot. I think Sydney Sweeney being cast as a nerdy shy girl does not work. The other 2 girls, don't remember the actors' names. One of the girls is in The Last of Us, and she was Dora the Explorer in the live-action Dora movie. She was great. I think she was great. Dakota Johnson definitely had never seen a Marvel movie before this and had no idea what movie she was making before signing up for it.
Right.
This movie is hard to watch. Not fun, actually, like at all. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
I gave it a really low rating because I went on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, your experience was way worse. I waited till it was streaming. But that is our breakdown of Madam Web for Bad Movie Summer. We both recommend you stay away from this movie, but we also recommend that you follow us on all the social media platforms that you have installed on your mobile device right now. We know you have them.
Nice.
Like TikTok, like Instagram. You can go over there and find us at
BJ in the morning _.
Or if you want to watch us talk about these movies, watch us make fools of ourselves, stumbling over our words and telling ourselves we're only going to do 25-minute episodes, and here we are 25 minutes after that 25 minutes.
Right.
On YouTube, you can watch us do that at
BJ in the Morning Podcast,
where you should be leaving comments and subscribing and liking the content. And on all of your podcast listening apps, you should be leaving a review. Or,
I mean, they don't have to.
No, but they should.
But it's a good idea.
Do you know why they should?
Because it helps us out.
Because the script said so. One,
Brendan.
This was our episode from Madam Web for Bad Movie Summer here at BJ in the Morning. Do we know what the next movie is on our list?
I don't think we've talked about it.
We'll figure it out by the next episode, I guess.
Yeah.
We definitely have a huge list of movies.
You put me on the spot.
And then you put me on the spot.
Yeah.
And then we're both on the spot. So we're just going to end the episode. Why? Because the script said so.
And
25 minutes ago.
Spiders and visions.
Spiders and visions. And we're having a vision of us taking off and you leaving those reviews and comments down below. So thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of BJ in the Morning Bad Movie Summer. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And
we'll talk to you next time.